Sam, brilliant to see you back at Meadow Lane, brilliant to see you smiling. I'd say you were fresh off the training ground, but you look potentially a little bit sweaty. Was it a hot work out there today?
Yeah, it's warm. No matter what you do away from the ground, it's hard to replicate the intensity of what you get when you've got someone who understands the tempo serving and also the competition of other goalies around you. So real good to get back in. I kind of finished my stint at home, which I was getting a bit bored of, but nice to be back and nice to work hard.
Let's talk about the injury, Sam. First and foremost, what was it?
Yeah, we had a quad strain. I think it was a grade 2 to start with, which when I very first did it, I was certain there was something serious there. I usually play with niggles and things like that. It's not an issue. So for something to get to the point where I can't move, then I kind of know when it's something serious, and the scans agreed with that. We actually did really well with rehabbing it, and then kind of a couple of weeks leading up to the Barrow game, it was looking quite positive. I maybe pushed the staff a little bit too much to move on to the next stage, and everything was going well, and then last kick in one of the sessions, we were just doing some passing. Last one we like re-aggravated it, so that put us back a little bit, which was unfortunate, but it happens with injuries, especially muscle injuries and things like that, and kicking leg for a goalie. But look, Joe did fantastic whilst I was out of the team and injured, and the team were doing really well. So it was more from my point of view, I wanted to be available for selection for the big game, but yeah, those things happen.
So where were you in terms of fitness going into lockdown then?
We were still back in the gym. I think we'd gone back. I think we'd maybe done a couple of runs, but it was basically just single leg loading and doing gym work. So when lockdown came, the biggest challenge was not so much being able to recreate the gym sessions, it was just the volume of weight that we could lift in them. At home I do have some facilities, but not quite enough heavy weight to really be putting on loads of muscle mass, but it didn't really stop us doing what we've kind of been doing here. We had to tailor the cardio workouts to either hit sessions or just kind of running out on the grass and running sessions, whereas at the gym, at the ground here, we can do rowing, cycling, which is a little bit less demand on your muscles and joints to road running, but yeah, it was just a case of doing what we could at the time.
And how did you feel coming out of lockdown into this first week of training?
Selfishly, I'm in pretty good shape. Not great for the club that lockdown happened and we stopped the run that we was on, but the selfish side of me, it was not bad timing in my case. It gave me a bit more time to allow it to heal and prolong the recovery period, which I think has done it. I've had constant contact with Craig and Marco during it, which, I mean, credit to them, that they've been really good in terms of getting in touch with me and seeing how it is and how we feel. I haven't had, touch wood, any setbacks whilst we've been off. Everything's been fine. I mean, the last couple of weeks I have stepped up with a couple of close friends that was within our kind of bubble and done some striking, so it wasn't a big shock when we come back onto the grass to actually do some kicking. So yeah, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. I mean, I've not done a proper session for 6 months because of injury and lockdown, so you're always going to have them cobwebs in terms of the cardio work and the intensity you work at, but I don't believe that'll just be me. I think it'll be the other 3 goalies as well. So.
And it has been brilliant to see you out there with Jake and the other 3. Can you just sort of talk to us about the group as a whole, you know, in terms of what a working environment it's like to be part of?
Yeah, goalkeeper groups are always quite close-knit. Everywhere I've been, it's been like that. I think one of the things I'm really enjoying with Jake is he's very similar age to me, he's very similar experience in terms of life experience to me, so we've got quite a lot in common. We're on a similar level in how we are personality-wise, I would say. Macca coming in, I didn't have a lot of time to spend with him at first because I was in the gym and he was out on the grass, but once you're in the session together, you get that bond quite quickly, and the first initial feelings I get, he's very similar as well. We have some common interests, and how our personalities are the same. In terms of Tiernan, who's just signed his pro, he trained with us a lot last year and really impressed. I thought he's got a little bit about him personality wise for a second year scholar coming in as a first year. He looks like he's going to be able to handle the intensity that he's going to get within training here, and from the personalities we've got in the squad from training, I feel he can handle that, and hopefully he keeps progressing how he has in the last year in terms of ability and practice. And I know Jake's doing a lot of work with him technical wise, and if that can all come together, well, it's a good little group to have. We're all pushing each other.
Obviously Joe, he came in, it was difficult for him because he'd played so few minutes in the previous sort of, well, couple of years really. He'd been in and out of teams and not really getting that big run, so obviously it took him a while to settle in. But what did you make of his overall performances?
Yeah, he looked assured in his performances. I know what you're saying about not actually getting game time, but I think sometimes that can be a benefit, especially at his age and at my age myself. You can have that time to allow your body to recover a little bit, and work on things in training that you do feel you need to improve on. I'm not saying that about Joe, I'm just saying as a whole that can happen. But I think one of the biggest tests for Joe would have been playing week in, week out, and having that opportunity to build the momentum, but also having to perform week in, week out, rather than a couple of games and being taken out. And I mean, I can only say from what I saw, but I was really impressed with how he grew within that period of time that he was playing, yeah. And
do you see him as a good and an able competitor to strive you both on to battle for that playoff shirt?
Yeah, 100%. I'm always a believer that you should have pressure from either at the side or below. I don't want to say below you because I don't see him as below me. But as a goalkeeper, as a pro, you want that pressure from your peers to push you to the next level, and I think he will definitely do that for myself, and I hope that I do that for him. Look, I came here at the start of the season saying that I wanted this club to go back to the Football League. I thought the squad we put together gave us a really good chance of doing that, and that has proven up to now. And I think that kind of, whether it's me that plays, Joe that plays, Jake or Tiernan that plays, if we can do that, it's because we've all pushed each other, and whoever's performing the best at that point in time will be taking the chance.